Brace yourself for a heart-pounding story of a warrior princess who battles enemies, defies tyranny, and fights to reclaim her throne. This is The Princess. In a medieval kingdom, the king and queen have no sons, leaving their eldest daughter, the princess, as their only heir. Determined to prove she can be a strong leader, she trains in combat and strategy with the castle's master-at-arms, Lin, while also studying philosophy and politics. But her father, the king, clings to tradition and believes a woman's place is as a wife and mother, not a ruler. To secure a male successor, he arranges her marriage to Julius, the son of a powerful diplomat and a fierce warrior set to inherit the throne. On the day of the engagement ceremony, the princess boldly refuses the marriage. 2 days later, she wakes up in a strange room, her head pounding, dressed in a wedding gown and chained. Fragmented memories surface, armed men forcing a sedative into her mouth. Something sinister is at play, and the princess must now fight not just for her future, but for her freedom. The princess quickly pulls herself together and starts looking for a way out. The window is wide open, but it's a straight drop into the sea. No escape there. Just as she's about to check the door, she hears footsteps approaching. Panicking, she jumps back into bed and pretends to sleep. 2 burly men enter, one leaning in too close. Suddenly, she snaps, head-butting him hard. In a flash, she wrenches her hand free by dislocating her thumb, using the chain to whip one man across the face. Grabbing a hairpin, she stabs the other in the eye, taking him down. The second man lunges at her, but she dodges, leading him to the window and kicking him out. Before she can catch her breath, more footsteps approach. She grabs a hammer, hides behind the door, and knocks out the next thug as he enters. Freeing herself completely, she arranges the bodies to look like they're still on guard. Then she slips into a nearby bathroom, peeking out the window to plan her next move. The sea below is treacherous, and guards patrol the only path. She's not out of danger yet. The princess looks down in horror. Her family is chained in the courtyard below. Julius, the invader, arrives with his guard, Moira, and mocks the king's plea for peace, calling him weak. Julius scoffs at his father's diplomatic ways and the king's openness to outsiders, insisting strength and fear are the only ways to rule. The king argues back, but Julius ignores him, ordering his soldiers to drag the royal family to the dungeons. From her hiding spot in the tower, the princess remembers how her refusal to marry Julius 2 days ago sparked this invasion. Guilt and fear flood her mind, but she's snapped back to reality when a soldier barges into the bathroom. Thinking fast, she hides in a bathtub, fully submerged. The soldier, blinded by his helmet, misses the bubbles and leaves. Soaked and determined, she sneaks through the halls, dodging enemies by listening closely. Just as she thinks she's safe, a huge soldier grabs her by the neck. Her punches do nothing, but she outsmarts him, slamming his helmet to make it ring painfully. He lets go, and she escapes, proving her quick thinking and grit. The princess lands a quick kick to the brute's groin. Smart move, but it barely slows him down. He grabs her by the neck, but she slams his helmet into the wall and breaks free. When he charges at her like a mad bull, she leaps onto his shoulders, twists his helmet to blind him, and escapes as he stumbles. He tries to crush her against the wall, but she's too quick. She yanks off his helmet, stabs him with its horns, and finishes him with a brutal slam to the head. Catching her breath, she flashes back to her mentor, Lin, who taught her that true warriors fight for a good cause. Lin had clashed with the queen, who insisted the princess learn etiquette, not combat. But Lin stood her ground, arguing that a lady should master both grace and grit. Back in the present, soldiers bring the body of the man the princess had kicked off the tower. Julius grows uneasy and sends his lieutenant, Kerr, to check on her. Kerr, in turn, passes the task to a sluggish, unimpressive soldier, leaving the princess's fate hanging in the balance. The princess hides in the tower's knitting room, tearing her bridal gown to move more freely. As she tends to her wounds, two soldiers burst in. A fight breaks out. She stabs one and uses lace from her gown to tie up the other. Grabbing a crossbow, she demands answers about Julius and her family. When the soldier mocks her, she proves her aim by shooting his comrade. His insults continue, so she silences him with an arrow to the skull. Armed with a stolen sword, she slips into a hidden passage behind the dining hall. Peeking through a hole, she sees drunk mercenaries looting treasures. Quietly, she sneaks past them, reaching another secret path that leads to her bedroom. There, she retrieves a special sword, remembering Lin's lesson: fight with your heart. Lin and Kai, the king's trusted advisor, trained the princess, knowing she'd grow into a fierce warrior. Kai even gifted her his family's prized short sword, a blade with an unbreakable edge. Fueled by determination, the princess grabs her gear and sneaks back into the secret passage. As she heads downstairs, she overhears Julius and Moira discussing the wedding. Moira wonders why Julius doesn't just seize the throne by force, but Julius insists a forced marriage will make his rise to power seem legitimate. Jealous and bold, Moira kisses Julius, and the two get lost in the moment. Hidden behind a wall, the princess lines up her sword to strike Julius through a small gap. But her plan is ruined when a soldier interrupts, summoning Julius to meet the king. During their meeting, the king warns Julius that stealing the crown will be seen as treason. Julius argues the wedding makes it all legal. Meanwhile, the princess sneaks out from under a vent, only to find herself face to face with what she thought was a decorative suit of armor. Turns out it's a real knight, and he's ready to attack. The princess dodges the knight's attacks with lightning speed, landing a few strikes of her own. But his armor is unbreakable until she spots its weak points. Thinking fast, she douses him with oil from a lamp and tosses a candle his way. The armor ignites, trapping the knight inside. In a panic, he leaps out a window into the courtyard below. Moira, fed up with Julius's failures, ends him with her whip and takes control of his army. She orders her men to search the castle tower, floor by floor. Soon, the princess is surrounded by a flood of soldiers. She tears off her necklace, scattering beads to trip them, then uses their shields as stepping stones to escape. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, she spots a way out. Grabbing a tapestry, she swings out a window and into a room across the tower. As she tends to her wounds, someone enters: Lin, the castle's master-at-arms, and her trusted mentor. Relief washes over her. Lin helps the young princess, revealing her family is trapped in the dungeons. They sneak through the kitchen to the basement, but run into 3 dangerous mercenaries. The princess takes on 2, while Lin faces the largest. Lin quickly defeats her opponent and helps the princess finish off the others. Just as the last mercenary attacks, Moira, a fierce fighter with a deadly whip, arrives. She strikes Lin, who blocks it, but Moira's speed overwhelms them. To protect the princess, Lin holds Moira off while the princess escapes into the sewers. Emerging in the dungeon, the princess finds 3 drunk guards. She easily defeats them, grabs a sword, and frees her family. But as they prepare to leave, someone knocks her out cold. Later, the princess wakes up in the Great Hall to find her family and Lin chained up. Julius yells at her for causing trouble, but she bites his hand in defiance. Furious, he slaps her and insists she was born to be his wife. In a chilling tone, she warns him that once they're married, he'll never sleep soundly. She'll spend every moment plotting his death. But Julius realizes she's too wild to control and decides to marry Violet instead. He orders Moira to kill the princess. Just in time, the princess kicks a guard's sword, stopping Moira. Lin seizes the moment and escapes with Violet through a hidden passage. Suddenly, a soldier throws the princess out a window and she plunges into the sea. As she sinks, she remembers her training and Julius's plans for her sister. Fueled by rage and determination, she uses a broken shard to free herself and swims to the surface. Surviving against all odds, she sneaks back into the castle, reunites with Violet and Lin, and they arm themselves for the fight ahead. The princess is ready for revenge. After leaving Violet in the storehouse, the princess and her ally rush outside to face Julius's soldiers. When the princess sees Violet being forced into a wedding with Julius, she fights her way to the hall, where Kai helps by freeing the guests and stopping the ceremony. Seizing the moment, the princess battles Moira in a fierce duel. Though she takes some hard hits, she eventually turns the tables, using Moira's own whip to defeat her. With Moira gone, the princess charges inside to confront Julius. Their fight is brutal, and Julius gains the upper hand, stabbing her and throwing her into the courtyard. As he boasts of his victory, the princess remembers Lin's advice. Stay calm and strike at the right moment. In a flash, she disarms Julius, grabs his sword, and beheads him. With Julius defeated, the princess reclaims the crown and returns it to her father, who names her the rightful heir. The story ends with her triumph, marking a new beginning for the kingdom.